This is Wretched Radio with Todd Friel.
Probably don't need to tell you this, but we're pretty classy here at Wretched Radio. To prove the point, would like to share with you some poetry. That's right, a poem, courtesy of Milton Vincent. You'll remember this fellow. He's the author of the Gospel Primer, which we still have, by the way, in the Wretched store. It's an outstanding book on the doctrine of justification, how you can think about the gospel every single day, not in a formulaic kind of, okay, the gospel, okay, I'm a bad sinner, Jesus died for sinners, okay, I'll just keep repeating that thought over and over again. No, there's many different ways to perpetually think about the good things that God has done for you in the cross of Christ. For instance, you can read through your New Testament and use whatever system you choose. Write it down in a notepad, use a certain color marker, whatever. Highlight all the things that you get in the gospel of Christ. And you're going to come up with a long list of things. I've seen different lists that have up to 50 different blessings in the gospel. Now, it makes its way into every crevice of life, but I'm talking about biblically identified categories. You get this because of Jesus. You are this because of Christ. Write those things down, mark them, and then look through them regularly. Just one of them, and ponder it. For instance, the doctrine of adoption, that you are adopted into God's family in a world that is so divided, where we've got Corinth. They'd look at us and be like, what's the matter with you people with all the divisions going on there? We are in this group and in that group. I'm talking about in and out of the church, that we are a divided nation. And maybe you just feel really adrift. Nope, you're adopted into God's family. You have brothers and sisters in God's family. You are a son or a daughter of the creator of the universe, the one who spoke the world into existence in 6 24-hour days, not that long ago, knows your name because you are his child. You can't be more of his child. And by the way, you can't get unadopted. You cannot be rehomed by God. You are his forever. Now think about that today. And you're thinking about the gospel and what the gospel has done for you. Forgiveness of sins, reconciliation with God. You were afar, but you've been brought near. Your shame is gone. Your guilt is gone. You've got the mind of Christ now. And you can just jot down all of those things that happen to you that are yours as a Christian, and just grab a nugget every day and just chew on it for a while. And I'm telling you, you will grow and you will have strength, because it is the gospel of God. It is the power of God unto salvation, but it doesn't just stop when you get saved. It continues to be the power that revs your engine, that keeps you going. So find aspects of the gospel and ponder them, like the doctrine, the glorious doctrine of adoption, which, don't forget, is like a grilled cheese sandwich. You see, one of the pieces of bread is justification. The other piece of bread, it's sanctification. You don't want the two pieces of bread touching, so what do? You put a slice of cheese, which is the doctrine of adoption, in between, and you will not mix your sanctification with your justification or vice versa. Because you've been adopted, you're not going to be focusing solely on your sanctification, because then you're going to become a work righteous and probably a do Christian. If, on the other hand, all you do is focus on the doctrine of justification, or you let the doctrine of justification touch the bread of sanctification, then you're not going to work, or you're going to try to work for your justification. You need the cheese of adoption. Yep, I'm sticking with that sentence. You need the cheese of adoption to keep those two glorious truths separated from one another. Ponder these things, and you will be fed, and you will have power. That's what Milton Vincent does in the Gospel Primer, which is available at wretched.org. But, among other things, this godly shepherd is a poet.
Emancipation signed, division lingers. Righteous laws advance, division lingers. Government programs funded, division lingers. Segregation banned, division lingers. Affirmative action launched, division lingers. Civil rights enshrined, division lingers. Watchdogs keeping count. Division lingers. People staying quiet. Division lingers. Every mouth is talking. Division lingers. Can more laws fix this? More programs, more protests, more statues coming down, more patience, more calm, more talk in gentle tones? If every soul was woke or unwoke, could we fix this? Or is it time we look to Christ who died upon a cross to rescue us from pride and nullify those walls we build to separate and hide? Where history divides, His grace alone can conquer, turning rivals into friends and lords and slaves to brothers. If we ever needed Him, we need Him now, who conquered His oppressors with love. If He can reconcile a holy God to sinful man, then surely He can heal the breach that rumbles through our land.
Question: how have you been doing in bringing a divided nation together? You're thinking I'm going to harangue again on sharing the gospel. And while I am happy to do that, I might suggest something perhaps for you less obvious than that, and perhaps in some sense even a bit more insidious. True confession, these times have been a little bit sad for me. You see, a number of years ago, before we loaded up the truck and moved to Atlanta City, we lived in Minnesota, and we heard about what the South was like when it came to racial relations. The rumor, the one that I heard, this could be totally subjective, was that it's not good. It's black and white in the South. And it's overt. There's overt racism. People would say in Minnesota, it was behind closed doors about people of different skin colors. But in the South, it was just right there. Well, then I moved to Atlanta, and I was shocked. I didn't find it. I didn't see it. Now, I know it exists because we're sinners, and everybody's racist. Whatever skin color you are, we're always racist. So I know it's there. But it was not what it was purported to be. And I remember enjoying the sweetness of the relationships between, well, I don't know if you noticed, I'm a white guy, and black people. I just found it like so cool that it seems to work. Now, in fairness, I was at a large ministry, about 300 people were there, and it was maybe, give or take, half black, half white. And we just got along, and nobody thought about stuff. But this was true at the gas station, the grocery store. In fact, there was more politeness with sir and madam both ways. I just found it staggering and so remarkably good. And I don't sense it's that way anymore. And I've talked to enough folks. I know these are anecdotes, but this is my experience, and that means it's true. Or so they say today. Talking to enough people, they sense it too. Whether black or white, they sense, it's not as sweet as it once was. And with that, I will confess to you, I've been thinking about how do I engage with people with different skin colors? And here's why. Because I've been getting the message that there's not a whole lot of love in the air. In fact, maybe just the opposite. That's the message that I've been receiving, right or wrong, as a white guy. So I'm just sharing this with you if you find yourself in a similar place. And as I walk by people on the street or engage with them at the grocery store, I have been tempted to not be as just societally polite as I have historically been, thinking, well, I guess if we don't like each other, there's no sense in being polite. Now, here's the truth of the matter. Maybe there is no love lost on the other side. But that does not need to be true on my side. And when I mean my side, I don't mean white people. I mean me. And even as I might be given the message, whether it's overt or subtle, mixed or otherwise, that maybe there's not as much genuine kindness there as I once thought there was, that's not going to keep me from being kind. It's not going to keep me from loving. Why? Because I've been shown love. I know I hated God. I hated him. Now, whether some black people, all black people hate me, I don't know. I know I hated God. And he loved me. And he died for me. Needless to say, he was kind to me. And as we live in a divided culture that is not informed by the gospel, I want to make sure my heart is, and so it is, I want to rededicate myself to just showing the kindness to people that I have been shown kindness by from my God. And maybe, just maybe, in a less than overtly evangelistic way, that is a way of bringing people together. Maybe. This is Wretched Radio. I'll be needing to see some identification, young man.
Why?
Because you, my friend, are a lawbreaker.
No, I'm not.
You are, according to this video from Ray Comfort. Production. I need the clips on time.
911, what's your emergency?
We met about
Yeah, he asked me to
this.
become a gospel partner, and he took my credit card.